Welcome to the Paul Has Fun podcast. I'm Paul, and on this podcast, I dig into my hobbies. I also document my life and interests. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I just saw Black Adam last night, October the 20th, 2022, and I'm recording this on October the 21st, 2022. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on this spoiler discussion of Black Adam. Fun movie, entertaining movie, but it's definitely mindless fun where you watch the movie and you kind of have to check your brain at the door. The special effects are incredible. The action scenes are incredible. But there's some story beats and the way the movie progresses where you kind of question it or it doesn't make a lot of sense. But now going into some of my notes on Black Adam, and this is a little bit all over the place. Henry Cavill does appear in an end credit scene in my theater where I saw it here in Newport Mall in New Jersey, in North Jersey. A couple of people cheered. They're like, oh yeah, cool. You know, when he appeared, he looked cool. Henry Cavill did as Superman, confronting Black Adam at the end of the movie. That was a nice surprise. Even though it's been advertised almost, but it was still a very nice surprise. Now to some of my cons and just general observations of the movie. The Justice Society. I enjoyed their introduction. I thought while watching this movie, do you have to be a comic book person? Which I am. I consider myself a comic book person, somebody who reads comics. Not regular weekly titles. I just kind of read graphic novels. But you have to be someone who reads comic books to understand who these characters are. But then I started to think that we get a lot of other superhero movies where you don't know who all the characters are, and you kind of become endeared to them as the movie progresses, or you kind of hear their backstory as the movie progresses. Like a movie that came to mind was Suicide Squad. So you don't have to be a comic book aficionado or a comic book person. And what I mean by that is somebody who regularly reads comics to go ahead and find out who these characters are. Because as the movie progresses, it gives you small moments, a little backstory on the characters, and I was fine with that. If anything, out of the four characters, being the four JSA characters, Justice Society of America, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher, they all came across very well, I thought, and I really enjoyed Dr. Fate and especially Hawkman. I thought they were fantastic. The actor who plays Hawkman, I'm forgetting his name, but I know he was in The Invisible Man, which we reviewed on this podcast a year or two ago, and he was great in that. I would be totally down for an HBO Max series of Dr. Fate and Hawkman having adventures together, or even if it's just one of the characters having an HBO Max show, I'd be cool with that too. A con with the Justice Society, so they come to Kandar to go ahead and kind of arrest or capture Black Adam because he's a threat. But for this group of superheroes, and they really are, they're very much say they're heroes in the movie, to come to this country and really just demolish it and destroy the country trying to capture Black Adam, it just makes you scratch your head. Like, you're supposed to be like kind of like the protectors and the saviors of the world, I'm assuming, and you come to this country and you destroy it to capture this one guy. The woman who plays Isis, who's a big character in terms of the supporting cast, and she is a native person from the country of Kandar, this fictional country in this movie, she says to the Justice Society, we've been occupied by some other force that we didn't want in our country for almost 30 years, and where were you then to come and help us, come and free us from these people? At least Black Adam, we see him as a champion, we see him as our hero, and we are not for you coming into this country to kind of take him away. Even though Black Adam, from the very beginning when the character is introduced in modern day, he is killing people. He is ultra violent and killing people, but the people of Kandar, through legend and through stories passed down through the ages, prefer him as their hero, even if he has these violent methods, as opposed to the Justice Society, which comes to this country, destroys a lot of it, especially by the end of the movie. Really don't care about the welfare of the people, I thought, while they're trying to stop Black Adam. So I found that very interesting. An issue that I had with the movie was, so Black Adam, he's imprisoned from the times of ancient Egypt for ages. And when he comes out of his tomb, when he comes out of his prison, he knows perfect English. And I found that super strange. So that was another observation there. Also, they work on trying to have moments of levity where there's this child actor whose name is Aman, who's another central character in the movie, tried to kind of, because the character, this character of Aman, this child character, is presented as someone who likes comic books and who likes superheroes. When you go to his bedroom in the movie, he has posters of Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman and the Flash, and the way he comes across that he loves superheroes. And once he has this person that he projects to be a superhero in front of him, he tries to kind of catch him up to modern day. Something similar to what Wonder Woman did, the first Wonder Woman movie, when she comes from Themyscira, and then when she's brought to the modern world by Chris Pine's character of Steve Trevor, and she's like this fish out of water trying to get accustomed to the new world. And that worked incredibly well. I would even say that that's one of the strong suits of the Wonder Woman movie. When they try to do it in this one, it's a little bit jarring because you see like the kid try to have moments of levity with Black Adam. All throughout this point, he's been killing people and he's ultra violent. And then he has moments when he starts kind of having these moments of levity, like all of a sudden with this kid. And I found that kind of jarring, kind of off-putting from what was being presented to us, from the very beginning of the movie. And The Rock plays this character very straight, very serious. He doesn't even smile or smirk until almost like near the end of the movie. And I do like that because that's how the Black Adam character is represented in the comics and in the animated movies that you see in the cartoons. Like I said, the moments of levity were a little bit jarring with this kid. And speaking about this kid, Aman, he is either the stupidest kid in the movie or the bravest kid, because he gets himself into situations right in the middle where there's gunfire, or there's people that are like physically manhandling him and slamming him to the floor, and he's just kind of like skateboarding and not. I mean, he has, you could tell, like a very rebellious spirit. The character of Isis that I mentioned not too long ago, he's his mother in the movie. He like gets himself into all kinds of danger. Like I said, he's either the stupidest kid or the bravest kid, because this kid in the movie has balls of steel and the type of trouble that he gets into. Moving on to some other observations, was the character of Sabak is portrayed as the main villain of the movie. There were other reviews, there were other critiques that said that he just is very underdeveloped and he just kind of shows up. But I'm okay with the character of Sabak. After, listening to that in passing, the movie is about Black Adam and all the other characters around him in terms of, I mentioned now Isis, Aman, the Justice Society, even Sabak. They're just all characters, all talking about and building up the story of Black Adam and who this character is, his motivations. So I didn't find that too bothersome. I didn't find that, it didn't irk me that Sabak was like some character that really kind of shows up in the third act. He's developed throughout the movie, but he shows up in the third act to be like a foil to Black Adam, and the Justice Society, which I enjoyed as well, team up with Black Adam to kind of go after him. And I'm okay with that. Like I said, this is Black Adam's story, and everything kind of that's happening around him is just developing him more. But just wrapping this review up, very enjoyable movie. Like I said, mindless fun. I would compare this to like The Scorpion King, which I can't believe, I was doing a little research before this came out 20 years ago already. One of The Rock's original first movies that he came out with in Hollywood. A movie like The Mummy, which this movie kind of gave me vibes of, since it happened in like this kind of Middle Eastern, Egyptian, a lot of sand kind of area. A movie like Armageddon. Movies basically where you can turn off your brain, popcorn, mindless fun. You can clean your house and this could be playing in the background and you pay attention to when the big action scenes happen. Recently, I rewatched on HBO Max the Titans movies, Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. Not great movies, but they were a lot of fun, great action, and I enjoyed those movies, and I find that this movie will fall into that same category of it's mindless. It has some questionable things, but great action, great VFX. That's my final review for this movie. If you've watched this movie, please let me know in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know what you think on the blog at paulhasfun.com under the post for this particular podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Find all my content at paulhasfun.com, and I will talk to you on the next one.